You are listening to the Sealed Word on Grace Notes Ministries. I'm Marcus.
And I'm Jordan.
He did not preach a series, he played a radio show. And the radio show did what 10 years of sermons had not been able to do. Today, we are going to a church that spent 10 Sunday mornings running the counts together, a congregation together in a room, and what happened to that room over 10 weeks. And what happened to the people who had been sitting in pews for 30 years without ever understanding why the King James Bible was different from the Bible on their phone. And what happened to the 3 people who got saved during a radio program about mathematics.
3 salvations during an episode about math.
During episode 3, the 888 episode, the pastor told his congregation, "Run it with me." He had printed worksheets, he had the Greek alphabet on a projector, he had calculators available, though most people used their phones, and he read the letters, and the congregation added them. And when the room landed on 888 together, he said the room changed. Not because he said anything, the room just changed. And 3 people who had been coming to that church for years without ever making a decision made one that morning. Not because of the pastor's preaching, because of the Greek alphabet and the number 888, and the silence that followed when an entire room landed on the same number at the same time.
An entire room together.
And together is what made it different, because the discovery that is yours is powerful, but the discovery that is yours and theirs and everyone in the rooms, that is something else entirely.
Pastor Thomas leads a congregation of about 120 people in the Midwest. He played 10 episodes on 10 Sunday mornings. Pastor Thomas, what happened to your church?
I want to be precise because I think this matters for other pastors who might be considering doing this. I introduced it simply. I said, I want to spend the next 10 Sundays investigating something together, something about the book we say we believe, and I want us to do it as an investigation, not as a lesson I already have the answer to, but as a real investigation that we will run together and see where the evidence goes. And then I played episode 1, and then the next week I played episode 2, and so on. And what happened over those 10 weeks was the most significant thing that has happened in my 22 years of ministry. Not because of anything I did almost nothing. I pressed play and I handed out worksheets. What happened was the math. The math did 10 weeks of apologetics work that I could not have done in 10 years of preaching. Because when I preach, people know I believe it. But when the math speaks, nobody's faith is on the line. It's just arithmetic. And arithmetic does not have a faith position. And when the arithmetic landed, it landed on everyone at the same time. And the room responded the way a room responds when everyone in it discovers something true simultaneously.
3 salvations.
During episode 3, 3 people I had been praying over for years. One was a husband who had been coming for his wife for 11 years. One was a college student who had been attending skeptically for 2 years. And one was a woman who had been coming to church since childhood and had never, in her own words, actually believed. She had been practicing, she had been performing. And the 888 count broke the performance because she could not perform her way through arithmetic. It was either true or it was not. And it was true. And she knew it. And something finally moved.
3 salvations.
During episode 3, 3 people I had been praying over for years. One was a husband who had been coming for his wife for 11 years. One was a college student who had been attending skeptically for 2 years. And one was a woman who had been coming to church since childhood and had never, in her own words, actually believed. She had been practicing, she had been performing, and the 888 count broke the performance because she could not perform her way through arithmetic. It was either true or it was not, and it was true, and she knew it, and something finally moved.
One of the members of that congregation who had sat in church for 31 years without understanding the KJV question is here. Her name is Patricia. Patricia, what did 31 years in church miss that 10 Sundays of this show gave you?
I want to answer that carefully because I love my church and I love my pastor. What 31 years gave me was faith. What the 10 Sundays gave me was a floor under the faith. And those are not the same thing. I believed before the show, but I believed the way you believe when you are standing on carpet, and the carpet is over something, but you have never tested whether the floor is solid. And one morning in episode 7, when Pastor played the episode about the KJV and the translation committees, and what happens to the count when specific words are removed, I felt the floor for the first time, like pressing down through the carpet and finding concrete, solid, tested, verified by 136 years of academic scrutiny and never falsified once. That is the floor I am standing on now. And the faith I have is the same faith, but it has a floor now. And a floor changes everything about how you stand.
PureBibleSearch.com, BibleNumerics.com, KJVCharts.com, SealedByTheKing.com, GraceNotesMinistries.com/KJVNumerics. Pastors, press play. Hand out worksheets. Leave the room. To the math. The math will do 10 years of work in 10 Sundays.